Hello, everybody. How are you? This is Bridging Realms, and I'm Melody Pash. And I have my partners with me, Darla and Jill. Say hey, darling Jill.
Yeah, hi.
We got a fun dream we're going to share with you today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. It's a really good one. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Looks like we've had a couple of people waiting, so that's awesome. Say hello to us and where you're from and all of that. We love seeing you, and thank you for being here. We really appreciate that. So I think we just called this dream Echo the Calf. I know. What a strange. Yeah, we thought the same thing when we got the dream. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read all the way through. Then I'm going to go back to that first paragraph because there's a lot in this dream. It's got a lot of details. So just bear with me. All right. So the dreamer says, I was at a friend's very large house that I went to school with. His name was Michael, and he had a large business and may have served the government with his products, whatever it was he was producing. His wife was showing me around and opened a bedroom door that, to my surprise, had a blonde limousine female calf in it. Now, for those who don't know about livestock, and we don't have a lot of limousine cows in Texas, we got a lot of other kinds, but they're very similar to and part of the Brahma breed. So they actually have that large bump. Some of them will have that large bump on their neck, similar to the Brahma. We do have Brahmas out here for sure. So this is a female limousine calf. She's young. So she was a cherished pet in the house. She was literally in the house, had been with the family since birth, and her name was Echo. I love that name. She was very sleek with short, perfect, smooth hair, not like what you would typically see on a young calf. It's usually fuzzy, and it was more like her. She was small, but her body was more matured, I guess. My friend gave Echo an affectionate scratch under her chin, and we then went outside to continue the tour of their property. She was showing the dreamer the property. Outside, two strange little animals were lying together and seemed to me like two seals, but were black and white like penguins. I bent down to touch the larger one, who moved away, but the smaller one was happy for a little tummy rub. When I looked up as my friend was telling me something, my eye caught two golden. The dreamer says that they called it brown eagles in the dream, which a golden eagle is brown. They don't have the bald, the white head and all of that. They're all brown and golden. So two golden eagles were mating on the ground, which I felt was odd. I couldn't believe my eyes. They are so rare. I asked my friend if they often saw brown eagles. She seemed very matter of fact about it, all like eagles were commonplace there. At some point, a golden eagle was in the air trying to mate with me. So flying around the dreamer and trying to mate with the dreamer. I was struggling to shoo it away. They said I was shooing it away. I finally left, and when I looked around the property, I noticed a tall cyclone fence and a military base outside the perimeter of my friend's estate. I asked where we were. My friend said that it was a small, remote, secret tactical base. So their estate was literally within the borders of this small tactical base and had apparently a cyclone fence all around it. Very interesting. Hi, daughter. Good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to go back. We're going to start at the beginning. So I was at my friend's very large house that I went to school with. His name was Michael, and he had a large business and may have served the government with his products. Now, this is interesting and certainly sounds like it would be a corporate word. Michael, I think, means who is like God. Isn't that right, Joe?
Yes.
And you've got Michael the archangel, but this is someone that the dreamer went to school with, so a longtime friend, and was apparently an affluent friend because their business was serving the government, and they lived in a large house pretty much on the base from what it sounds like. His wife was showing me around, so inside the house, I guess, and opened a bedroom door that, to my surprise, had a blonde limousine calf in it. Did you guys have any comments on that first statement or two about the house and the government products and all of that? It doesn't state what the government products are, but it does say that he was selling. He apparently had government projects because he was selling his products to the government. You guys got anything on that?
Well, whatever that service is, could be like a service or a training, since it's a complex. So it could incorporate a lot of things.
Well, that his home and his business was on the base, I think would be strategic for sure. And if what he was producing was serving the government, then that makes he and his family and all of this quite strategic, quite critical. So then his wife is showing me around and opened a bedroom door that, to my surprise, had a blonde limousine female calf in it. So this is she said she was a cherished pet and that she had been with them since her birth, and her name was Echo. You guys have any thoughts on that? I love that her name's Echo. That to me sounds very prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that she was more mature than her size. The dreamer speaks as though she's very young. The calf is very young, but she has short, perfectly smooth hair like a more mature cow.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if since it was there since she was born, if it isn't some type of innovation that that he has developed since he is working with the government, and that he is selling his product. So whatever that is would certainly be of great value. So he is nurturing that type of innovation. I would say that it's an innovation, but echo is something that it's a frequency and a sound that carries. So whatever this is something that's going to continue moving forward, that you're going to it's going to have a great influence because it's a sound, and it's something that reverberates. So I would say that, you know, it's some kind of technology that that is going to be very valuable. And since it's a valued pet, so it's like a pet project. I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Very interesting. Then she says, my friend, they said, my friend gave Echo an affectionate scratch under her chin, and then they went outside to continue the tour. I'm not sure why, but this structure almost reminds me a little bit of Elon Musk.
Oh.
You know how he's
Yeah.
got his sort of independent stuff, but he's also had contracts with the government.
Yeah. Innovative. Yeah.
Very innovative. I don't know. And there, she did say, or the dreamer said that the Echo, the calf, did have she did have I think it's significant, the sort of bump like the Brahma, and Brahma is part of the bloodline of the limousine. And of course, Brahma has come up in a dream before, which caused a lot of research on my part. And what I found was an herb called, they call it Brahma, but it's like a Brahma plant, but its original name is Bacopa monnieri, which is very much for like the brain and your intellect and clarity and just kind of interesting stuff. So that there was a cow in there that's part Brahma is kind of interesting. And then the owner gave her a scratch under the chin, an affectionate scratch under the chin. And yeah, Echo being inside the house and being, that cherished pet project and living in the house, like being a part of the family, apparently, was like a part of the family.
Yeah, since you brought up the fact about Elon Musk, I'm wondering if it also isn't, since it's a blonde cow, like a golden calf, like a golden, something that has some wealth to it, because also it's limousine, and we generally think of things that are expensive and high class as
Luxury.
limousine. Yeah, luxury, exactly. So I'm thinking that it's something that's got a lot of value.
Yeah, very interesting. There are so many, I will tell you guys, there are so many different ways. This dream has been around for a while, but there are so many different directions that we have already gone through this dream on, through all kinds of research, and we've been here and there and everywhere on it because it's actually got a lot of elements in it. But today I want to just be spontaneous with it. I told the girls, let's don't share a whole lot of our research. Let's just see what comes up, because it's been very interesting. And every time we pull this dream back out and we go over it, something else comes up. Like I'd never related it at all to Elon Musk. This dream's been around, I mean, in the hopper for, I don't know, like, I don't think it's been a year, but it's been months.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but never considered, I never looked at it and heard Elon Musk before. So that is very interesting. But yeah, right. You've got, and there's a lot of that blonde and golden. And okay, so let's go a little further down because some other things are coming out here. So outside, two strange little animals are lying together that seemed like seals to the dreamer. but instead of being seals, they were black and white. Well, they look like seals, but they were black and white, more like penguins, is what the dreamer says. So they look like seals, but they're black and white, similar to so they're dressed in a tuxedo. They're dressed in black and white, much like a penguin. The dreamer bends down to touch the larger one, who moves away. So that one is skittish, but the smaller one is happy for a little tummy rub. This, to me, and you guys tell me what you guys think, but this to me just seems like, sort of that religious community, part of the religious community, sort of that black or white, we live by the law, black or white. And some of them are very skittish, and some of them need a lot of attention, a lot of affirmation. What do you guys think?
Well, Echo having her own bedroom, to me, is that goes even deeper than just being a pet. I mean, her own room, for goodness sakes.
Oh, you're talking about Echo, yeah.
About Echo, and these guys, aren't even in the house.
Yeah.
So just a little buzz in the back of my brain.
Thank God they weren't in the house.
Thank God.
That might not have been a good idea.
Probably not.
I mean, anytime I see black and white, that to me is just so classic. I don't know. It feels like religion to me. And I'm not even talking about church religion. I'm talking about legalism, law.
Right.
That could be in any form of structure, any type of structure. Doesn't have to have anything to do with, the church or Christianity or any of that. But that, one of them is like, oh, don't touch me, I can't, I'm not going to be authentic. I'm not going to be in fellowship with you. And then the other one's like, here, rub my tummy, make me feel good, stroke me, make me feel good. That sounds like that legalistic, you do things my way, we get along great, but you don't, and I don't let you in.
Yeah. And plus then you've got two, and that's usually a union or a coming
Agreement?
Together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an agreement, and it solidifies whatever that is. So
yeah. So then they say, when I looked up, as my friend was telling me something, my eye caught two golden, but the dreamer says, I called them brown eagles. They're golden eagles mating on the ground, which does seem odd because I think most eagles mate in the air. I know that they mate some on the ground, but they typically do a lot of their mating dance in the air. But it was interesting to the dreamer, and the dreamer felt that it was odd. Number one, because the golden eagles are very rare, and that they were mating on the ground rather than, in their sort of their majestic way, how they fall together in the sky. The dreamer was like, that seems very odd. So you've got two on the ground that are mating, and then they say, I couldn't believe my eyes. They are so rare. I asked my friend if they often saw brown eagles. She seemed very matter of fact about it, as though the eagles and the golden eagles were commonplace in that area. I'm going to go back to the creatures that look like seals because when I hear the word seal and small tactical military base, secret
Yeah.
base, I'm thinking, seals. What do they?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Navy SEALs. Yeah, the
Mhm.
Navy SEALs, which they're part of that tactical
Yeah.
military force. So that also kind of ties in as well. You're always going to have, two sides of every story anyway, because there's always going to be a redemption.
Yeah.
Even when there's a negative, you're going to have that positive as
Mhm.
well. So it's kind of cool because you've got the seals and then you've got the golden eagles. Now, the calf, Echo, is kind of that blonde golden color. And then you've got the golden eagles, 3 of them. Now, 3 is going to be something that's sort of set because another one comes up. At some point, a golden eagle was in the air trying to mate with the dreamer. I guess trying to get in her hair or his hair, whatever. And was trying to mate with them, and they were like trying to shoo this big bird away, and struggling to shoo it away. They say it finally left, and then I looked around the property. I noticed a tall cyclone fence and a military base outside the perimeter of my friend's estate. So there's a big estate in the middle of this small, remote, secret tactical base. It's almost like it's encompassed round about, it's in the center of this military base, this tactical military base, which is seems like some special form of protection. Like, and it's a secret tactical base. Like nobody knows it's there. So nobody knows the house is there either, right? It's all a secret. So you wind up with 3 golden eagles. We were talking about the golden calf. You've got seals. You also have golden seal, which is another herb, which is good for inner ear trouble and things like that. Very interesting stuff here. And so you've got seals like Navy SEALs, like, highly precision, highly trained soldiers. And then these 3 golden eagles, which 3, it's like it's set, something set in place. And the eagle, one of the golden eagles, is trying to mate with this human. What do you guys think about that? Making some agreement.
Well, it definitely is a mindset. And so anyway, since it's a golden eagle, it's a golden mind. It has to do with innovation, I believe. And so that is trying to influence this dreamer. And so anyway, you've got a golden mind, you've got a golden era, and you've got gold in the house. You've got the thing that innovation that is important, and that is bringing income into the house. So I think it's about innovation, and the tactical military base would be protecting what is secret and what is valuable. Anyway, going back to the golden eagles, since they were mating on the ground, I'm wondering if it's getting back to some foundational things. and building from that. Because a golden eagle, would be one of courage and strength, and also has a spirituality to it too, because it has power in the air. So I do believe that it's mindsets that have to change. And anyway, since it's tactical, there's protection. And that cyclone fence, that is built for all kinds of severe weather. It's it's a boundary of protection. So whatever's inside that tactical base is being protected, and that would be plans. It would be resources. It'd be all kinds of things. Training people, before they're sent out, and something on that line.
Yeah, and the cyclone fence is not something inviting. It's definitely, it's got little spikes on the top of it if you're going to climb over it. And it was a high cyclone fence. It was a tall cyclone fence, like what they would put around a secret base. So yeah, and I think the 3 is something that's being established. And yes, I definitely agree. I'm glad you went to the foundational aspect of the mating on the ground. In other words, producing something foundationally. And I agree. I think it is innovation and wealth is what I'm seeing here. And the more we talk about it and the more I look at it, the more I hear Elon Musk. The more I hear that. It's so funny. And it's been interesting because since he's been involved in, well, everything political lately. I mean, he didn't used to say a lot. He has gotten very vocal. He's echoing a lot of truth right now.
Oh, yes.
He's not only uncovering things, he's echoing a lot of truth, right? And I think a lot of that truth is merging with the echoes of the past, even the past prophets that have been speaking into and over the nation, the globe, and all of that. And yeah, he's been very verbal. This seems very interesting, and that would be, something it's also something very unique. He is very unique.
Yeah.
He's not like anybody else. He's very unique.
Yeah, but you notice people are starting to come alongside of him and come into agreement with some of his ideas. So it's not so rare anymore. It's like those
commonplace
eagles where,
right?
Yes, it's becoming more commonplace. Yeah.
Well, and
so
I think you're right. Yeah, and I think you're right about the golden eagle trying to mate with the human. Getting the talons in the hair was kind of the thought that the picture I was getting when they were talking about it. We do sort of scale down and make these dreams more concise. So we take a lot of ancillary information out of it. But yeah, it was like talons were getting caught in the hair and that kind of thing. I absolutely agree that that's changing. It's producing, not changing. It's producing, because we haven't been there yet before. It's producing a golden mindset. When Trump says this is a golden era, like you were saying, Jill, it's a golden age. This is a golden era for the United States. And our hearts are on the whole globe, not just the United States, for every nation. But we first have to get that golden mindset where we, number one, are fine to receive innovation, receive revelation, receive illumination from the Spirit and to receive the wealth and the inheritance that the Father has for us and has had from before the beginning of time. It's what he wants us to have so that we can accomplish what we're called to in the realms in which we live. We happen to live in the natural realm, in the earth, but you need resources, and not all resources are money.
Right.
Resources can be anything. It can be connections. It can be, it can be your empathy and your giftings and all of those things. I did make some notes down here, a couple of things that I did want to bring up. And interesting that the dreamer says, my friend said that it was when the dreamer asked where they were, the friend said, oh, it's just a small remote secret tactical base, which to me almost means something being built. Sort of like you were saying, Jill, the innovation, it's like it's being built, but it's something that has to, you guys have heard me say this before. There are some things that when you want to do something new, you don't share all of your ideas with everyone. Someone will take that idea and they'll try to run with it. And somebody will have more money and more time than you. So you need to be very careful and wise in what you share with people. Well, it's got to grow. The innovation has got to grow quickly enough and to the point that it's big enough that by the time everyone is aware of it, it can't be taken down, can't be stolen.
Right, and sealed, under sealed. The seals, you have to keep these things kind of under lock and key, and a seal has, suggestion of somebody, a king or somebody very high up.
Absolutely.
Their seal means everything.
And the black and white fits there too, because it's like there isn't going to be a mixture here.
Yeah.
There's got to be, you either have a golden mind or you don't. There isn't going to be a mixture. You can't stand on that. You can't stand on that cyclone fence. That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Very interesting. There were a couple of notes, and we can talk about some other things, but I wanted to bring up also the dreamer called the golden eagles rather than sort of the dreamer having the language of a more commonplace description than golden, which would be a little more extravagant, but they called them brown eagles. Well, the brown would be about those that are producing, but in humility. And I also see, even though Elon Musk is like a little kid, he's kind of all over the place. He's doing cartwheels. He's excited sometimes, but he seems very sort of down to earth and humble. His personality seems very sort of matter of fact.
Not afraid to work.
Yeah, it's like let's just do the job.
Well, and staying on the base, staying in the office and sleeping in the office. I mean, he's guarding over what he's bringing forth.
Absolutely, and the house was on the base.
Right. Yeah.
Very interesting. Also, excuse me, something else about the blonde, the calf being blonde, or that golden color blonde. Blonde is fair, but think of the word fair. You know,
Yeah.
Elon is busy finding billions of dollars that have been stolen from the American people,
Right.
talking about fair,
Yeah.
and bringing back their inheritance, the nation, the money that belongs to the nation. Right?
Well,
It truly,
also the seal is an animal that is kind of fun loving, deep diving, and searching for treasures. That
that's
certainly would be a good description of him, because he is searching
absolutely,
out the treasures, and that could also be the truth. You know, truth is
absolutely,
treasure.
absolutely. That's so funny. Now, I was just looking up golden, you know, this morning. I was kind of looking back through it and thinking, you know, you got the frequency of the echo and where is that going and what's God saying about that? Very, very interesting. But again, you've got the golden calf, the blonde calf, which is fair. Blonde is fair, fair and equitable, but also fair and comely, appealing, right? So I looked up the frequency of gold, and it's 5,000. 5,000 hertz is the frequency of gold. And in the Greek, 5,000 is gazelle. So agile, beautiful. In the Hebrew, it's comely, seemly, wholesomely attractive, in very good taste. Isn't that interesting? And then, let me see if I can explain this part because I didn't fully understand it myself. But it said the soundscape of gold is 316 hertz. Okay. So a soundscape is apparently a sound within the proximity of and relating to the gold. So it'd be kind of like a metal detector, like the sound would bounce against the metal or something to detect it. I think that's what it means by soundscape. And that frequency was 316. 316 in the Greek means necessary. And how much have we been hearing, and how much do we know that is necessary, that our commerce, our money it's necessary that it's gold backed. Otherwise, it has no value. Right? And 3 and 6 or 8, one more is 9. The end of an old season and going into ushering in a new harvest. And of course, 5, you know, is grace, multiplication of grace. And then you got 3 zeros there. The 3 established goose eggs, which are to me like eggs, like endeavors. It's like 3, it's like established vision. It's like grace for established vision. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And all of the animals except Echo were outside the structure, outside the house. And I wonder if Echo really, you look at Elon, he acts like a kid sometimes, yet he's got engineering degrees and he's extremely intelligent and he's extremely productive. And I wonder if Echo actually represents Elon. That's a thought. Because that echoing, it's not even the words as much as his actions, and our actions echo. They echo into the atmosphere. They change the atmosphere, right? Everything you do has a frequency. If I run my hand through the air in front of me, I've just created frequency, right? It's movement through air. The air moves and slices for my hand to go through it. There's a frequency in that. Our frequency is not always in our mouths, what we're saying. It's often in our actions. I want to go back to, I like going back to the funny stuff, but I want to go back to the woman of the house, which let's play angel's advocate here. Does a little scratch under Echo's chin affectionately, saying, I love you. And then finishing the tour. The woman of the house could be Holy Spirit, encouraging. That could be encouraging, that little bit of affection. You keep doing what you're doing. And under the chin, that's the neck, right? And this is connected. This is connected. Your tongue is connected to all of this tissue. You can feel, all of that tissue that's connected to your tongue in your lymph nodes and then up through your mouth. But here, and then your sound, your larynx, this is where your sound comes from. This is where your frequency comes from. That's where you echo from. I mean, the woman of the house could have just scratched Echo on the head or on the ear, but no, a little scratch under the neck. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's like encouraging that frequency. And you know how you massage something, and as you massage it, it releases?
True.
I don't know. Very funny. I'm sure Alon would love the metaphor that he's a limousine cow, but they're white, lovely animals. They're beautiful animals. Stocky, stable, solid. They're beautiful animals.
Well, and another thing about Elon is little X, that he takes him and presents him even before the president of the United States, and has such a tender heart for him as just a little boy. He laughs and just enjoys. He's not trying to mold him into something, another mini me sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he seems genuinely open to letting, his son be exposed to a lot of things to grow into. I know.
Living in that frequency, living in that atmosphere,
There you go. Yeah.
changes his son's outcome.
Yeah.
Where he's been, I think his father was, I think he was an inventor. I think he invented some things. I think he too is extremely intelligent. And his mother, you know, we know about her, the being in the modeling industry and all of that, but that tenacity that she carries, he has that too. And it's so, and the same with his father, you know, it's like Elon does not give up. He's going to stay at something until it works. You have to admire that in some way. There has to be. I so have admiration for people with that sort of bulldog tenacity, because I feel like in my own life, you know, I've given up too easily. You know, that's when you need to let the golden eagle mate with you, with your mind, right? Put some gold in your mind, change that mindset, plant that seed of destiny. It changes everything.
Yeah.
And all of it happens in our minds.
It's true. That's true.
Well, I think that the military base is pretty important because the military base is designed to train and to support operations. And also it's a defense mechanism and also surveillance. So there's a lot going on in a military base, you know, and it's safeguarding munitions, whatever's valuable, you know. So that certainly would be what Elon Musk is doing. Not only is he exposing his son, that's a type of training that he's bringing him into, where his mindset will, you know, absorb some of these things that he's being exposed to. So it is on base training, you know, or, you know, right where you are, you're being trained. So anyway, I was just thinking that the military base was pretty important because it's a supporting mechanism. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Well, and you can't do your job of, you know, the inventions, the innovation. You can't do your job well if you are not safe. And I wonder too if it's a little bit of a 411 that God has Elon and maybe all of the, you know, administration surrounded and covered by very strong military tactical systems, whatever that looks like. And I would say that's as much in the spiritual realm as it is in the natural realm. Which is very cool.
Yeah. And very necessary.
Very necessary. There's that 316 again. It's necessary. How are you going to get it done if you're not safe? How are you going to work? How are you going to invent? How are you going to produce what is needed without being safe?
Yeah.
I love that. That's a funny dream. And like I said, we've gone so many places with this dream. You know, we've gone very corporate with the church. We've gone, you know, more individually for the dreamer. But this, and, you know, this is the thing about dreams. Dreams can be a message that's so multi-layered. God is so multi-layered. Now, when we got this dream, do you guys remember how long we've had this dream? I know it's been 6 months. I don't think it's been a year, but it's been, let's see, this is May. It's been since before January. It was before January, remember?
Yeah.
Well,
Because we
at
started
Probably Probably back in November.
Well, I have it for January 24 of 24.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So it's been
So,
over.
so here we are in May. So it's almost been half a year. Okay. So interesting that.
January of 24, not January 25.
Oh, of 24.
So it's a year and a half. Yeah.
And then that it comes up again today is totally bizarre because it's like somewhere down in the hopper, you know, we've got a list of dreams all sitting in a big basket, right? But so it's been around for this long. When we first got it, the dream seemed to relate very much even to our school, because our school is kind of small. It's very covert. It's almost like a tactical secret base. People don't just trip over it. It's usually word of mouth. People find it strategically. The Now Interpret This school, and it's at nowinterpretthis.com. The online, the landing page with all the information is nowinterpretthis.org. But our first interpretation went straight to NIT, went straight to the school, the prophetic school, which it helps with dreams and building the prophetic gifting in people so that they can be the fullness of what they're called to. We're all supposed to be prophetic, but we are also called to raise up little prophets. It's what we do. But it first went straight to NIT. Then the next time we pulled it out, it was very corporate, went more toward the church. Not the church, but organized religion. And then the next time we looked at it, it was more like for the ecclesia. You know, it's like for the remnant. Like, we got to get this. We got to get golden mines. We gotta get this. And now it's like governmental.
Yeah.
I love the way the Lord will do that. And I have dreams that I had 10 years ago that I've gone back to and have several interpretations. The Lord keeps giving me another interpretation, another piece. What were you going to say, Jill?
Oh, I was going to say, and it also points to innovation. That is big on the horizon right now.
Oh yeah, right now. And the government, absolutely. Right. Everything's changing. Yeah. Everything is changing. Well, and we're seeing, I have people in my mentoring sessions that will say to me, I just don't understand what's going on. I can't see past my nose. I don't know what's happening. I'm like, you're in really good company, because that's where everybody is right now, because we are moving into that, excuse me, we're moving into that, the darkness of the birth canal, right? We're moving into that change. We can't see the light yet because we haven't seen the new. We haven't seen the light yet because we don't recognize. We're not even going to recognize it. It's going to look so different than anything we've ever seen. We're not even going to recognize it.
But regardless of what is out there, regardless of how we get there, what we were talking about, the golden mindset, the expectation, the perspective of what it is we're looking for and what we're expecting, just like, little calf Echo, you can love and tell her, good girl, she's doing what she's doing, walk away. But still but she's not a golden calf. There's still that division of our thought process, the soul from the spirit, just like what we have to deal with every day in every situation, but I feel like this is really a call to tighten up our minds, and what is our motivation? Why do we want to go to a school that teaches us how to hone our prophetic gift and interpret dreams? Why do we want to see prosperity? Why do we need that cyclone fence? Yeah. And if all of those answers, why do we need that seal? you know, and if all of those answers, you know, can be examined piece by piece by piece, then how much more successful we can get that seal of approval of our own spirit with what the Lord would be offering, you know. So, you know, I think a lot of times he just holds back and watches what we're going to do. How are we going to respond? You know, we've been reading in Proverbs a lot lately, and man, I'll tell you what, your behavior matters, your honor matters. So either we take that golden with the seal of approval, with the protection, and then all the other stuff can start to come out. Then maybe we're able to handle the authority, the power, the munitions, you know, on this little base.
Yeah. You know, that makes perfect sense, Darla. And, you know, you brought up the golden calf. You know, so many people, as you know, you and Jill know, so many people come into the school and their gift is their golden calf. Their gift is their idol.
Yeah.
They are so tied into, I just want to know what my gifts are. I just want to, and God's more interested in your motive, the motive of your heart. He's more interested in what's in your heart. Your gifts, they're irrevocable. They're without repentance. That's what the word says. They're not going anywhere. He's not going to take those back. But if you don't get your heart right, your gifts, they're irrelevant. Because they'll either take you out or you'll use them in a maleficent way, even though it's not your heart to do so. It will harm. It will harm. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've
that is so
stumbled,
good.
definitely stumbled on those very things. You don't, and sometimes you don't recognize something as being wrong until all of a sudden you're in a mess and can't figure out, how did I get here? You know, and there again, you know, we've talked too about who you hang out with. You know, if you want to grow wise, you hang out with people with wisdom and you listen, you know, and, you know, the Bible talks about how the truth from a friend, you know, it basically smack upside the head from a friend is more faithful than the kiss of an enemy. And when it gets right down to the bottom line, we get to choose, you know. He definitely gives us a lot of room, but also the redemption, you know, and the redemption is all the sweeter, you know, when you come through it. And that.
But you're right. Those choices all have outcome. They all have an outcome.
They do.
What's the price you're willing to pay to operate in your gifts? And what's the price you're willing to pay to lose access to those gifts?
That's two sides of the story, isn't it?
Also, I'm going to put a plug in for the school here because the main thing on the school is building character, and you have to stay the course, and you have to fight the good fight to go through the training that we offer, because it is character building, because it deals with your motives, it deals with your filters. You know, what's in your soul, all of that. It's quite extensive, and it is a process, and it does take some time. So anybody that goes through the 3-year course is going to come out at least with clean filters and a different perspective on what their gifting is.
That is true. And, you know, just a spoiler alert, you know, on the front end, you know, for those who do listen to this or get to see this, you know, the school is not easy. It's intense, and you're going to get triggered, and you're going to get your stuff dealt with. And if that's your goal, then now interpret this as a great school for you. And if that's not your honest goal, you won't last a month. We've seen it. It is intense, but it is what the Lord has prepared it to be. And it is about preparing, training, equipping, and raising up mature prophetic voices who can make a difference in the earth. And that's our goal. You guys want to add anything else? Thanks for that little plug, Jilly.
Yeah.
That was a good one. We don't usually pull. I'm not good at getting those plugs in. I'm glad we talked about it today, but that's good. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we are going to say adios until next week. And we love you guys. And thank you so much for joining us. And please like, share, subscribe so that you know that we're on when we are on, which, by the way, is every Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time. So talk to you soon. See you later.
Bye.